Hello, and welcome to episode number 20 of The
Wow.
Devils in God's Country. I am one of your hosts, Casper Rigsby. Ali has a job interview tomorrow, so let's all wish her good luck and send our awesome thoughts towards her and in getting this job. No prayers. Keep your fucking prayers to yourself, but send her some good vibes mentally. Um, on that insane spiritual bullshit. We all know that's bullshit, but hey, if you could actually send her a message and wish her good luck, that would be worthwhile.
Yeah.
Um, Tonight, I've got my buddy Joey on here again. Joey runs the page Offending Everyone on Facebook, and he has a lot of fun offending the fuck out of everyone on his page. So check out his page on Facebook, Offending Everyone. It's a great little page. You can have some laughs over there. You can get offended. That's kind of the purpose. He's not going to be PC, and he's not going to post shit that's just going to be liked or well received by everybody. Tonight's topic is me and Joey, actually, this past weekend, this past Saturday, we got to attend the first Nashville Nuns Convention, also known as NanoCon, um, in Nashville. And uh, the keynote speaker there was David Silverman. Um, if you're familiar with the atheist community, you probably know who David Silverman is. He's that guy that's been an asshole on Bill O'Reilly show and Fox News and stuff, and they made a meme about him. He's got the what the fuck face. Um, David gave a great lecture, and I want to talk about one of the topics that he brought up, which is what he calls firebrand atheism, what I like to call evangelical atheism. It's sort of this movement amongst most of us. That I guess people like C.J. Whirlman would call new atheists, but we tend to be very vocal and very irreverent, and we do not respect your beliefs, and we aren't going to act like we respect your beliefs. In fact, we are more than likely going to ridicule them, and honestly, we feel like that's an honest position, and it is far more kind and loving to be honest with you than to coddle you and act like we actually respect what the fuck it is you believe and what you put out there. So, Joey, what did you think of David's speech? I thought it was pretty good. What did you think?
I thought it was awesome. It's exactly where I've been kind of working my way towards. Um, when he talked about knocking religion off its pedestal, and that's definitely what I do with my page. You know, I'm the kind of guy that I want to find out what your sacred cow is, what your pet thing that you worship is, and I'm gonna knock it off its pedestal. That's exactly what I want to do. So it just fit perfectly into my whole mindset lately.
So what title do you think is more appropriate? Do you think me and David are on the same level with my idea of taking back the term evangelical and saying that I'm an
Uh,
evangelical atheist, or
yeah, I
do
like
you
that.
do
I
you
think
like
that's
the term
funny.
firebrand?
I like them
Yeah,
both,
I
but
think it's funny too. I think it flies in the face of everything that Christians are like. No, that's our thing, and I'm like, nothing's your fucking thing. You stole everything. I'm stealing it from you. Fuck you. I'm taking it back. You know, I feel like it's okay for me to take it back, but I don't dislike David's term of firebrand
no,
atheism, and I don't
no.
dislike what he said in his lecture. I think it was a great fucking lecture. Is great the way he presented it. And I saw some people in the audience when he was giving his talk that were a little squirmish, and they were a little I don't I don't know that I should be out here and I should get in people's faces when they bring up their bullshit. Like, I think I should just be like, okay, man, that's your bullshit and you can keep your bullshit, and like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want to be confrontational. And I'm like, I agree with
yeah.
David.
Well,
I,
if you're
I don't know.
not,
He said no. Go ahead.
if you're not confrontational, then you're making them feel like that what they believe is okay. But it's not. It's not. It's hurting people. It's taking them away from logic and reason. It's taking them away from, you know, it's like if you've got a grown person that believes in Santa Claus, are you going to consider that person, oh, that's okay. You can believe in Santa Claus. That's fine with me. Or are you going to say, hey, dude, there's no Santa Claus. You should know this. You're a grown ass man.
One of the things I love most when he was talking was he mentioned the idea that what you call yourself is important. I think that's something that's a big problem that we deal with in the atheist community. How many people are actually part of the atheist community, actually consider themselves to be atheists, but they're not willing to wear that fucking label? And
Right.
so they turn around and they tell people, well, I'm agnostic or I'm a humanist. And, David showed that chart and he loves his
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
He loves analytical data. And he showed us where, the majority of people don't fucking understand what those terms mean.
Right.
So of course they like you more than they like someone like me who's like, no, I'm a fucking atheist. I don't believe in your God or anybody else's fucking God.
Right.
I don't have an idea of God for myself. Fuck your God. God is stupid. Like, the idea of God is absolute bullshit. And as far as I know, it is complete fucking bullshit. And I can say, yes, I don't believe there is a God. And I'm like at least 99.9% certain there is no God. I'm at least that certain. And
if
yeah,
there
maybe I
is
can't
one,
disprove.
if there is one, you don't have a concept of it. There's no way that your God is the God. Because if there is a God that created all of this, there's no possible way that you have any idea, that you could have any idea of what it is, of exactly what it is. And don't even get me started on that you could actually know what God wants. There's no way.
Yeah.
Your puny mind couldn't handle it.
We're pretty much all of us are 99.9% sure there's no such thing as fucking leprechauns or gargoyles or Santa Claus or anything else. And we're completely fine in going, yeah, that doesn't exist. And yet at the same time, when it comes to God, we give that leeway. And that's exactly what David was saying.
Right.
We give them that leeway and say, well, I got to be agnostic about it. I can't be 100% sure. Well, fuck yeah, I can't be 100% sure.
Or at least I've got to respect your belief. No, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't disprove the actual existence of a God.
Right.
But I can tell you, I can disprove the existence of every God that's ever been put forward by somebody out there. The one that would be hardest for me to disprove is actually the God that Spinoza put forth, which is basically the universe itself being God. And that's a little hard to dispel.
Yeah, that's kind of a Taoist way of looking at things.
Yeah, it's so broad and generalized. I mean, it's hard to put that one in the box, but
it's
at
more,
the same time, I can say, yeah, probably bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of an intelligent energy that motivates the universe and connects everything. But that's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to disprove, but yeah, it's probably bullshit too.
Yeah, I once watched a video series that's available on Netflix. It may not still be available there, but it was available when I watched it. It's called the oh goddamn, Quantum something. It was conducted by a quantum physicist, and he just tried to show how the universe is connected through quantum energy, and you can make your thoughts and your ideas relevant and actionable within the physical universe by actually conveying them upon the universe through quantum mechanics. And so
Yeah.
it was an interesting video,
Oh, yeah, it's
but at the
interesting.
same
I'm
time,
sure.
oh yeah, I look at people like oh fuck, what's that self-help fucking guru bitch?
Deepak
What's
Chopra.
his fucking name? Yeah, Deepak. He's latched onto this bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Deepak Chopra is latched on this bullshit, and so he's like, "Oh well, the quantum universe and like quantum mechanics proves this sort of God, and it's like the universe and everything's connected and shit." And I'm like, to some degree, I can agree that everything in the universe
Yeah.
is connected. I truly
Yeah.
believe that. I
You
believe all of
can't.
humanity's connected in some
Right.
great way, but
You can't
where he
disconnect
takes
yourself.
it, it's like,
Yeah. You can't disconnect yourself from your environment. You are a part of your environment.
yeah, and people like Chopra, man, they take it off into fucking crazy land with this fucking
Oh, yeah.
spiritualism, and they,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
In The
you're
Secret.
connected to the fucking peanut butter can out there that you just fucking
Right.
pulled peanut butter out of, and
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, man? No, that's
Huh.
just fucking peanut butter, dude. Shit, I'm gonna eat that. Like that happens.
Well,
Oh,
going back to my own deconversion story, I went through all the religions and all the different sects and denominations, and then I kind of got into Buddhism and Taoism, and philosophically, I do believe a lot of the stuff in Taoism. Religiously, no, definitely not. But as far as, you can't disconnect yourself from your environment. The things you do have, an impact on your environment, and they do have an impact on the people that are around you. But as far as there being some sort of magic principle where you can use your ideas and your thought processes to impact your environment, there's no evidence for it. And if there's no evidence for it, then why are you investing any energy into it?
yeah,
I'm
the. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
The biggest complaint that I ever get is that I'm an asshole. I get that a lot. People are like, "Man, I get what you're saying, but you're a real dickhead about going about saying it. And like, you could be
Yeah.
nice to people. You can be nice to people. You don't have to be a dickhead." And I'm like, well, have to is a strong word. No, I don't have to. But at the same time, like, why am I going to keep coddling people? Like,
Right.
that's been
Right.
the problem. That's why religion and Christianity and fucking Islam and Judaism, that's why that shit has persisted for all these
Yeah.
fucking 2,000 or more years, is because people have just fucking coddled them. And they're just like, well, I have to be an asshole about it, and I can just let people believe whatever. And like, I don't think so. Like, I think I should probably, metaphorically slap you in the face and be like, no, your God's a cunt. If your God was real, I still wouldn't worship him. If I knew 100% that your God actually
Yeah.
existed, I still wouldn't worship your God because your God's a fucking cunt.
Right.
I'd
Right.
rather burn for eternity.
Right. Oh, and my kids can tell you I'm a rip the band-aid off kind of guy. I'd rather just get it over with and tell you the blunt truth. My wife can tell you that I am brutally honest at times. And I think that's a kinder, I think it's a better philosophy. If you're completely honest with people, you're not coddling them. You're not trying to make this thing easier for them. I think it has a better impact. I think it's a greater impact. Uh,
So one of the areas I think I think Silverman actually um, gets away from where I get attacked. People like Michael Sherlock get attacked. People like Sam Harris get attacked.
Mhm.
Is it seems like the American atheists and maybe Silverman have um, done a little bit to shy away from criticizing Islam as much as they criticize Christianity. And it's a fucked up thing, because when you criticize Islam, not only do you have to deal with Muslims, but you have to deal with these regressive leftist
Oh, I
atheists
believe that.
that
Yeah.
are like, oh, you're a fucking Islamophobe now. Now you're an Islamophobe. And I'm like,
Yeah.
aren't you an atheist? And they're like, yeah, I'm an
Right.
atheist, but you're a piece of shit. I'm like, yeah, but I said the same fucking shit about Christianity. And they're like, yeah,
Right.
well, Christianity's not on the same ground. And I
Well,
think
I
we
mean,
get back into that whole coddling idea. Yeah, go ahead.
I think a lot of that comes from fear, because you get a lot less death threats from the Christians when you attack their religion. I'm not saying you don't get any, because I have gotten some, but I think a lot of it has to do with fear, uh, because Islam is where Christianity was during the Dark Ages, during the Inquisition, during the Crusades. That's where Islam is now, because they're a younger religion. It's part of their process. It's part of their growth, or whatever you want to call it. And
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people are afraid of that, so they kind of back off a little bit.
David did say in his lecture, he was speaking about the Draw Muhammad Day, and he was like,
Yeah.
I draw Muhammad every year, and American Atheist puts out something, as far as drawing Muhammad every year, and I've yet to receive death threats from Muslims, and I receive them from Christians all the time, and I get where he's coming from. I do, but I also feel like he doesn't necessarily, and American atheists themselves, they don't necessarily put them on equal footing.
Right.
And I think that's the problem I run into with people like CJ Worrellman, is that CJ wants to tell me that we can't put fucking Islam on equal footing with Christianity, because Christianity has all this privilege, and they're more accepting of the criticism, whereas Islam
Well,
is
this
not
side of
able
the
to
planet.
accept the criticism. Yeah. And I think, honestly, I feel like that's um the more racist and Islamophobic stance,
Yeah.
when you're saying that, oh no, Muslims can't handle our criticism, so we need to
Yeah.
fucking treat them with kid gloves. It's like, you're being a bitch, dude. Fuck them. They don't get kid gloves any more than Judaism or Christianity does. Fuck
Right.
that. I'm going to criticize all of them equally,
Oh yeah.
in equal measure. Every fucking step of the way. You don't get kid gloves. You need to grow the fuck up. The fact that your fucking moderate Muslim is willing to go out and murder people in the streets because they believe Islam should not be criticized, and yet Christians don't do that. That's the actual reason why we should be criticizing them more. We
Absolutely.
should be tearing into them more, because there's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
There's a
At
bigger
the moment,
issue.
yeah. Absolutely. The Christians aren't right now going out and cutting people's heads off. Well, I mean, there's a couple of places where they are in Africa where, yeah, but as far as in the Western
Bangladesh.
world, yeah, absolutely. But in the Western world, it's not as big of a problem. But yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely see where you're coming from.
I like I've said several times, like, I don't have to point to fucking ISIS to show that Islam is a fucking problem. In fact, pointing to a terrorist group to show that Islam is a problem is detrimental to the fucking argument. So
Right.
instead, I can point to fucking Pakistan, who is run by the Quran, and their
Yeah.
laws and everything are written based on what is acceptable under the Quran. I can point to Saudi Arabia for the
One of our
same thing. I
closest
can point to
allies and a
I can
member of
point
the
to
UN Human
Iran.
Rights Council.
Yeah.
They're one of the biggest offenders. They're actually
Yeah,
murdering people under under Sharia law, under the law of the Quran, and they're one of our biggest allies and a member of the Human Rights Council on the UN.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's not just these terrorist organizations like ISIS. Put the terrorists aside. I can still criticize Islam, because when you put Islam to task, and when you say, what happens if you follow Islam the way that it is written to be followed, what happens? And I don't have to point to fucking ISIS.
No.
I don't have to point to the Taliban or any of that bullshit. I can point to fucking Saudi Arabia and Iran and Pakistan. I can say these are legitimate countries that are part of the UN Council, that are involved in world fucking laws that govern the entire world, that deal with how nations deal with each other. And I can point to these countries and say, these people have an input in human rights issues. And they're basing their ideas on what should be or should not be human rights issues on their holy book.
Yeah.
So it's not just the terrorists, and I feel like of course that's what I've got to criticize. I have to fucking pose an argument against that. Of course I do. And that doesn't make me an Islamophobe. I'm not fucking scared of Muslims.
No.
But am I scared of fundamentalist Islam and anyone who follows Islam to the letter based on what the Quran and the Hadith actually says? You're damn right I am. I'm scared to fucking death of that. Look what happens when people do that. And it's not just terrorists, it's countries. It's legitimized countries that are involved in the UN governing process for the entire world. Yes, I'm scared of that. You're damn right I'm scared.
Yeah.
What happens when that comes to my shores? That is a fucking real threat. Muslims as individuals are generally not a threat. We can honestly say, yes, terrorists make up less than 1% of the Muslim population. You're absolutely right. That is a factual fucking statement. I agree with it wholeheartedly.
Right.
But Muslims that are moderate still agree with many of the ideas put forth by fundamentalists.
Yeah.
And that's the fucking issue, because the ideas put forth by fundamentalists are based on the fundamental ideas of the Quran and the Hadith.
Right.
So it's still a fucking problem. Even within the moderate Muslim community, it's still a fucking issue that has to be addressed. It has to, for the sake of humanity.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and you see a lot of people online about, talking about the, Christians and, and how there's these extremists, I guess they call them, that they're calling for, well, the Bible says that gay people are supposed to be stoned. They're supposed to be killed. These are not extremists. These are people that are following the letter of the law. They're the people that are following actually what the book says.
Yeah, except when it comes to bacon wrapped shrimp, because nobody fucking dislikes bacon wrapped shrimp once they've ate one.
Hey, I'm sorry. You're not taking my bacon wrapped shrimp away from me. I'll fight you over that. But yeah, absolutely.
I honestly think that's it's of course there's cherry picking going on there, and people like the Westboro Baptist Church and stuff, are they the majority of Christians? No. Are they the people who actually look at the Bible and take the Bible at its word and do what it says?
Yes, they are.
You're damn right they are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. And so they are a fucking problem, because every time they convince one more motherfucker to do that, we get another fucking Planned Parenthood shooting.
Right. Exactly.
We get another fucking Christian terror terrorist going out here and murdering people in the name of their God
Yeah.
and their religion.
Yeah.
And it's no different than fucking ISIS and shit.
Absolutely
I
not.
hate that people act like, no, there's a difference, because those people
No.
were just lone wolves. They were
Exactly. Lone
crazy.
wolves. They're mentally ill. No, they actually read the book and they believed what it said.
I think we end up with people like the bitches that fucking took over the federal compound in Oklahoma when we let people sit here and fucking act like your book supersedes the fucking law of the land. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
No.
Your book doesn't
No.
supersede the law of the land.
No.
They're like, the federal government has no right to set up fucking wildlife reserves. Yeah, they fucking do. And
Yeah,
you know
they do.
why?
And they kind of need
Because
to.
citizens gave them that right. Citizens of this country said, you know what? We should probably reserve and preserve some of this fucking land
Yeah.
because otherwise, we're going to have another buffalo extinction or
Exactly.
another extinction event. And, because of that, yeah, the federal government should have some authority to come in here and say, you know what?
Hmm.
This animal only exists in this area, and we're going to make sure that you don't come in here and fucking kill it.
Yeah.
And to act against the federal government and say you have no authority to do that is just bullshit. They have authority because the majority of Americans have said, no, we want them to have that
Right.
authority, and we want to make sure this species does not get fucking wiped off the map because you're a dumbass.
Yeah. And this goes back to what I was talking about how you can't separate yourself from the environment. Even these birds or, and other endangered species that are out there, they affect the environment. And if you don't take care of them, eventually it comes back to you. Eventually it affects you. How many times are you going to light that thing?
It keeps going out because I run my fat ass fucking mouth all the time. No, I tell people all the time, I honestly believe that humans are part of a bigger organism. And if you
Absolutely.
think of yourself only on the individual level, then you don't understand your place in the universe.
Right.
And your place in the universe involves this little rock around this little sun, which is one of the smallest suns in the entire universe.
Hmm.
That's where your little universe
Yeah.
revolves around. And if you don't fucking understand that it's bigger than you and that
Yeah.
you're a part of a bigger organism and you fight against that organism that's bigger than you're going to kill it or it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like that's how cancer works.
Yeah.
And religion is a cancer, you know? Um, a lot of people will fucking criticize Hitchens when he said religion is poison. Religion poisons everything. But it's true. It's true. It's poison. It poisons the well of communication. It poisons everything it touches and it ruins it.
Yeah.
And the only options are you either kill the religion that is trying to kill you as an organism, as a whole, or you let that little thing, that little cancer within you, kill you.
Yeah.
There's a choice, and I look at like the Christians who refuse, who are science deniers, and they refuse
Hmm.
to have medical treatments done when they get sick, and they want to pray over someone. 9 times out of 10, the person they want to pray over dies.
Yeah.
Because when you don't fight the organism that is trying to kill you within yourself, that organism will kill you. That's how
Yeah.
cancer works. And religion is cancer on humanity.
Yeah. I agree.
I truly believe that.
And and it also, part of the poison is that it makes you feel like You're special. God chose you. God set you apart from everybody else. So you're not part of the organism anymore. You're special. You know, you have dominion over nature. You have dominion over everything else because God chose you. You're special. And that particular delusion is harmful to the human race as a whole. That particular
You know,
delusion is killing people all around you because you become part of the poison.
what happens if an extinction level event occurs again on this planet? We've actually, as a species, we have existed through 3 known extinction level events on
Yeah.
this planet, and our species still exists on this planet. What happens if another one happens? And the world has been taken over by these fucking nutballs who think they're fucking invincible, and the whole
All right.
universe is created for them. What happens then?
Because God has made them
Human
special.
beings go extinct. And of course, then we have fucking rodents and marsupials that can dig underground and who can live through an event like that, and they emerge and they evolve and they become the next species to take over the planet. And then they look back at us and they go, "Holy shit! What happened to those people? Those beings were here on this planet. What happened to them?" And they're like, "No, they were fucking dumbasses. They thought they were the center of the fucking universe, and when the universe said, no, you're fucking not, it killed them." And they just sat there with their thumbs up their asses going, "Oh, no, it's okay. We're going to be fine. The sun doesn't shine anymore for the next 10 years, but, we'll be all right." No, that's not how it's going to fucking work at all.
No.
We're all going to fucking die.
Sorry, I had to get my bourbon. Time for a refill.
Well, let the fans know what you're drinking. What should they be drinking tonight?
Cheap bourbon.
Cheap bourbon.
Yes.
Because
I have 4 kids. I have 4.
I get you.
4 boys. So I don't have a lot of money to play with here.
I vote for cheap vodka. Hey. This is Smirnoff, grape flavored, because it makes my vagina tingle. And yes, I drink flavored vodkas and I do shots. And call me a bitch if you want, but that's what I do. So this broadcast is not necessarily promoted by either one of these products.
No.
But we like to let people know what we're drinking, and you can have a few drinks with us.
Absolutely.
I always tell people it's a fun game to play. Do a shot every time I say the word fuck. I'm a big fan of the word fuck. I use fuck a lot. Fucking cunt. You can actually add cunt in there because I am a fan of British humor, and apparently the British people love the word cunt, so I use it a lot.
Twat's another one.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of friends over in the UK, and cunt and twat are 2 of their favorites.
So, it was really fun for us to get to actually meet each other face to face. And I actually gave a workshop at this event.
I tried to heckle it.
Yes, you did. I gave a workshop at this event dealing with secular activism through writing. Because as most of you who know me know, that's what I do. I write books, I write blogs. I started out as a blogger for Atheist Republic. I'm probably still to this day one of the most prominent bloggers on Atheist Republic.
I'm probably about to become a blogger on there. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Talking to Allie.
I can't wait to hear your voice.
Yeah, I've been talking to Allie about blogging on Atheist Republic I'm working on an article now. It's mostly going to be about deconversion stories and percentages of people that that leave each religion. And I'm trying to get some. I'm interviewing a few different people. I'm getting some questions from them, trying to find out how they left their particular religion.
Yeah, mine was actually for me. It was actually kind of easy to leave because I grew up in a fundamentalist Christian home, and um, I actually rank it in the top 2 percentile of intelligence on this planet. So
Okay.
I had too many questions, and when I started asking questions, it just all fell apart.
Yeah.
I had to know. I had to be able to. I had to be able to support what it is I was telling other people. I kept telling them like,
Yeah.
you should believe this, and I had to be able to back that up, and I couldn't do it, and I ended up leaving my religion. And it took my as you know from my speech, from my lecture and workshop, it took my wife looking at me and just basically saying, well, what if there is no God and maybe you're an atheist? And I was like, holy shit,
Right.
that's an option. Like that's
right.
yeah, fuck.
Well,
Like I might be.
growing up in the
Yeah.
South in a fundamentalist Christian household, that's that's never considered an option. That's that's the devil.
Oh yeah. It
Yeah.
was weird for me because it was one of those things like that wasn't even on the fucking list of
No.
options for me.
No.
It was like, I can leave Christianity and I might become a Buddhist, or maybe I'll go into Jainism, or I'll just be spiritual, or
Yeah.
there's an agnostic sort of side to it. And it was like, no, maybe you just don't believe there's a God at all. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Well,
holy shit, that's a fucking option.
in my family, it was the ones who backslid went Baptist. That was as far out there as you went, Baptist. Southern Baptist at that, but that was as far as you went. We had a couple of relatives that nobody liked to talk about. They were Baptist. But
See, you grew up Pentecostal, and I grew up
oh
in the
yeah.
Church of Christ. It's sort of
Well,
it's
they're
sort of
opposite
the
ends of the
same beast,
spectrum.
but in different clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of the same beast, but in different clothing.
Yeah, because we had music.
You grew up with holy rollers and
Yeah.
music and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up without any of that. It
Hmm.
was
No, you're
if you
quiet
use
in
an
church.
instrument in church, you're a fucking devil worshiper.
Right.
Like, you don't pick up a
Absolutely.
guitar in the fucking church, you're going to hell.
We had
You
guitar
don't
and
fall out on the
drums.
fucking floor with the Holy Spirit.
No, no,
What
no.
the Holy Spirit doesn't do that to you. He just moves you inwardly, and
Right,
you
right,
reflect, and you
right.
keep that to your fucking self, and you fucking compartmentalize, bitch. Like, that's what I grew up with. It's like, you fucking compartmentalize. Keep
Yeah.
that shit to yourself. Like, the Holy Ghost is moving me. You're like, yeah, don't you dare flop out that fucking floor. Like, we will call you crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Holy Ghost is supposed to be moving you,
Yeah.
but you keep that to yourself.
Right,
And then you
right.
take that in a closet somewhere and you
Got
let
to be
that out
nice,
later.
reserved, and you got to be reserved, and you got to be respectful of the environment you're in. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was exactly the opposite when I grew up. It was, you're running down the aisle screaming and hollering, and the pastor lays hands on you and you fall out on the floor and shake. That's what I grew up with. I actually,
I mean,
because I was that precocious 5-year-old who was asking questions, I actually had them at my uncle, who's a pastor, and my grandmother decided to perform an exorcism on me because they thought I was demon oppressed. So, I mean, they were laying on hands, the whole anointing with oil and everything, because I was asking questions. Because by the time I was 5, I was already reading on, about a 6th or 7th grade level. they thought that there was something wrong with me. I was definitely being demon oppressed, maybe even possibly possessed. So, I had an exorcism performed on me when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, you see, for me, it was pretty much the opposite. Um, I looked at my grandfather one day, and he's a preacher for the Church of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
He still delivers sermons at nearly 80 years old, possibly over 80. I don't keep up
Yeah.
with his fucking age. Um, but anyway, yeah, he still does that shit. He still preaches the gospel to people, and it was one of those days when I just looked at him and said, well, what about dinosaurs and evolution? Like, what's that all about? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on there? And it was,
Yeah.
um, he actually told me, he said, here is what science says. And he told me about evolution, and he told me about dinosaurs and extinction level events and stuff. And he said,
Right.
now that's what science tells you. But he said, the devil's greatest trick is to convince mankind that he doesn't exist. And he said, now, what I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
is that the devil put those bones here to fucking cause man to falter and to
Right.
cause us to question God.
I heard
And
the same thing.
so it's all part of the devil's plan. And the devil is just trying to trick you by making you ask questions and have you question God. And as soon as you question God and you're out of the loop, then God's going to fucking just throw you into a lake of fire and fucking
Yeah.
torment you
Yeah.
forever because you're a dirty ass heathen. And it's just, I couldn't reconcile those ideas because one of them has factual evidence to back it up,
Yeah.
and the other one is just like, "Hey, here's some crazy shit. Take that on its fucking word."
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
damn
There's no
it, my
proof.
brain doesn't work
You
that
have to
way.
have faith. Yeah. That was definitely what I grew up with.
The fucking F word,
Yeah. Yeah.
faith. That's the fucking F word to me. I don't.
Right.
I like my
Absolutely.
kids could say fuck all day long, and I'd be like, "Look, man, you don't say that shit at school, but whatever."
Yeah.
And
Use
if
it
they
in a
say
proper
faith, I'm
context.
like, "Yeah." If they say faith, I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa.
come on now, using the F word."
Yeah.
Oh,
I have to share this. My 11-year-old came out as an atheist at the dinner table in front of his lapsed Catholic grandmother. I was so proud. He just spoke up. We were having a discussion, and he just spoke up. He said, the whole gods and Bible thing. It's just fiction, right?" And I was like, "Yes,
win.
I love this kid." And the other two are kind of agnostic. I've never tried to tell them exactly what they had to believe. I just present them with the facts and let them make the decision on their own. If they want to go to church with their friends, they can go. But if they have any questions, I'm here to answer them when they get home. I've got the Bible,
And
I've got the Quran, I've got every book of mythology on my shelves that you could think of. And I've read them all. And I let them make their own decisions. And they're coming around to the whole logic and reason thing, and I love it.
and when they did that, how many of your family looked at you with this shit fucking look, like, what the fuck did you tell him? Because I
Well,
know I've gotten that from my family. They're just like, oh, what the fuck have you done to that child?
well, my mother-in-law, she's not very religious, but she's worried about how he's going to be accepted with his peers. And I understand that absolutely, especially living in the deep South Bible Belt. I understand that you know, acceptance is important. And I also understand that, you know, they're going to be ostracized if they come out with anything other than the whole down the line religious bullshit. But I've also taught them that they need to be confident in who they are and what they believe. And I've also taught them that, you know, it doesn't matter what other people think of you. What do you think of yourself? And I think it's making an impact. And that's the best part for me as a parent is that I see my kids forming their own ideas. They're questioning. They're asking, you know, well, why is it this way? And you know, I can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah, my oldest is getting to that age where it's becoming sort of an issue with him, with his peers and
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
And I he's basically told me, he said, it's about integrity.
Oh
You
yeah,
still, you're being honest.
that's awesome.
When people are like, why is your dad such an asshole? He's just like, he's just being honest.
Yeah,
He's just being honest. And if you can't accept his honesty, then that's your problem. That's not his fucking problem to deal
yeah,
with.
yeah.
Like, you have to deal with accepting him being honest, not only about what he knows to be true, but what he honestly believes. You know, my son at fucking 8 years old, maybe younger, he came home from school one day and he said, the first time I told a little girl that God didn't exist, she didn't believe me. And me and my wife both were like, holy shit, like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like, don't do that in school. And he's just like, no, this little girl said that when rain falls, it's God's tears. And he's like, no, I explained to her how the water cycle works
Yeah,
and what actually happens when rain
yeah.
falls, like what that's about. And he's like, so your God doesn't exist because, like, if that's your God's tears, then that's bullshit. And that was basically his own reasoning. I didn't
That
have
is
to put
awesome.
that into him. I just
No,
told him this is the scientific process
right,
known as the water cycle,
right.
and that's how this works. And here's a full-on fucking explanation of it. And he used that through deductive reasoning to say, if you say that that's God's tears, then I can tell you that you're full of shit because I know how that actually fucking works. And
Right.
it's just one of those, when a 7 or 8 year old tells you that, you're just like, good going, kid. Like, I'm doing the right fucking thing here.
Right.
Like, I
Absolutely.
haven't pushed
Yeah.
my beliefs on you, but at the same time, like, I've pushed the idea of deductive reasoning and
Hmm.
inductive reasoning, and having the ability to take an idea, and when somebody says something, you can look at that and say, no, that is false because the facts do not support
Yeah.
your fucking theory and your fucking answer. So you're wrong.
Well, that's what I've
And
always taught my
that's
kids.
great.
Yeah. I've always taught my kids if you don't know the answer to something, look it up. I mean, we live in a in a time when information is at your fingertips. There is no excuse for being ignorant. You can always look it up. Google that shit. Go pull up your. I mean, all my kids have laptops. Google it. If you have a question, ask the questions. Get out there and look for it. Look for the information. The information is there. And I think Google is going to be the death of religion right there because any at any time that you have a question, you don't have to accept what society or what your peers are telling you. You can go look it up. There's nothing out there that you can't find online. everything from quantum physics to midget porn. You know, it's all out there. You know, good or
You know,
bad, it's all out there.
I actually wrote a blog titled the "In the Shadow of a New God," and I referred to Google as the new God. Like
Yeah. Oh,
Google
yeah.
knows everything. If you want to know the actual fucking answer, don't pray about it.
Right.
Don't get on your knees about it. Fucking ask Google. And if you
Yeah.
actually look for the valid answers,
Yeah.
you will find the actual truth. We've connected 7.2 billion people on this planet, and all of those people have been able to say, this is the fucking answer. And when we look at it, we can go, okay, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
What is this? Okay, that's a peer reviewed fucking article
Yeah.
written under a scientific premise. Let's look
Yeah.
at that. What does that say? Oh, okay. That's an answer. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Google is the new God. Google knows everything. Google
Yeah.
knows all about you. Google knows all about me.
For good or
There's nothing
bad.
you can ask
Yeah.
Google. Yeah. Yeah, definitely for good or bad. There's nothing you can really ask Google that Google won't be like, here's the fucking answer.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, Google's like, nope, I got an answer. And if Google doesn't have an answer, then you can accept the idea that we don't know.
Right.
Like when you ask Google how the universe began, Google's gonna give you fucking 1,000 search results that
Yeah.
tell you 1,000 different things. And it's one of those things where you go, okay, well, there's 1,000 different theories on how the universe began, and none of them are conclusive. So I have to say, we don't know.
Yeah.
You can look at Google and say that,
And it,
and when
you
you
know,
ask Google, is evolution true? Google's going to be like, here is 200,000 fucking different research papers that
yeah.
tell you the same fucking thing, that yes, evolution is factually fucking true. That happens. How does it happen? Here's maybe 20 different ideas on how exactly that happens,
Right.
and you're kind of going to have to pick between them which one you think is most relevant. But it
Right.
can tell you that yes, absolutely, evolution is a real fucking thing. How it
Yeah.
happens, that's still a matter of debate. We're still
Yeah.
trying to figure it out exactly to the point. So,
I don't think there's any more wonderful phrase in the entire English language than I don't know, because that opens a whole universe of going out there and finding the answer, looking for the answer. Is when human beings say, "I don't know. Let me look it up. Let me find out." That is so much wonderful, so much more perfect than thinking I already know the answer. And that's where religion falls short. It's because religion already has the answer. It's an imperfect answer. It's an incomplete answer. But when you say, I don't know, let me look, that's when things progress forwards.
so getting back on topic just a little bit.
Okay.
You know, Silverman said that his what he calls firebrand atheism, what I like to call evangelical atheism, that this is the most honest position.
Yeah.
This is the most realistic position. Do you do you agree with that? Do you think
Oh,
this
yeah.
is being honest?
I mean, I think I've already established that I'm a rip the band-aid off kind of guy. You know, I don't want to coddle people. I don't want to, tell them, well, you might be right. No, get out there and look for the answers. Get out there and try to figure out what's going on. You don't know. I don't know. I don't know how the universe started, but I'm still looking. I haven't decided that I know what the answer is. And I agree totally. And as far as couching things in the euphemism and making things soft and more palatable, well, all that's doing is making you feel comfortable. When you're comfortable, you don't know. You don't know. Get out there and look.
So, as usual, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up a little bit.
Okay.
As usual, the thoughts and ideas expressed here are not necessarily the thoughts and ideas of every member of the Atheist Republic community. We are over 300 strong, and we cannot possibly speak for all 300 people in this group, much less an atheist community that makes up, Silverman puts it at about 25 to 27% of the community out there,
Yeah.
who are actually atheists, even though they don't fully on um, call themselves atheists. So we can't hope to speak for all those people, but what we can do is offer our opinions and our ideas, and we can hope that maybe this has some bit of an impact on you. If you would like to be a part of the Atheist Republic community, please visit atheistrepublic.com, and you can volunteer to be a blogger, journalist, editor, any number of things. We need help doing everything that we do. We could also use your financial support. As David made clear in his speech, this shit that we do is not free. It costs us money, it costs us our time, and there isn't anyone making money off what we do here. We're just trying to keep doing it so that people can have a different viewpoint and have a community to be a part of. So if you'd like to contribute to Atheist Republic financially, please visit atheistrepublic.com. You'll get a pop up as soon as you click on the page to support us in some financial way. That would be awesome. If it's if it's a penny a month, if it's $10 a month, if it's $100 a month, whatever you can contribute to what we're doing here, we would greatly appreciate it. I've been one of your hosts, Casper Rigsby. Our normal co-host, Ali Jackson, was not able to be here because she's got a job interview, but we've had Joey OK on, one of my dear friends running the Facebook page, offending everyone. If you want to be offended, if you want to be questioned, if you want to have your ideas provoked just a bit, visit Joey's page. It'll be a laugh. It could be fun. It could piss you off. We'll see how that goes. Um, to wrap things up here, I'm going to try to play our intro and outro theme provided to us by the band King of Tarsus from King of Tyrus. Sorry, King of Tyrus. These guys were so awesome. Let us use their song here, and I'm going to try to play for you here as we go out. So hopefully, here is King of.
send hell, 'cause the high past height's overrated. The scene's dull and the people sedated. I wash my hands of this fucking madness. My passion's bottlenecked and I'm feeling where the seeds of the earth are planted. Over the ground, I want you to stand.